Jovan Overshown, Senior Associate AD, Baylor University, joins us, Sic'Em 365 Radio and 365 Sports. I want to ask you this first. This is the most difficult question I'm going to ask you today. How could you let Mac go out of town? Because whenever he does, all hell breaks loose.
Look, he should know by now, but somehow he snuck out the back door without any of us knowing.
The last two summers, he leaves last summer, Texas OU. He leaves this summer, USC and UCLA. Am I right?
You are right. You are right.
What are those text messages without I know you, but what are some of those like? Are they like just, my God, what happens now? Did you hear about this? Yes, I did. What are those like?
No, we don't even flinch anymore. Like, we are just accustomed to when he goes out of town, something big is going to happen, and we're just going to assume that somehow he's going to help us weather that storm, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You guys are putting tape on the windows and like an X.
Like a hurricane's coming into shore.
Just,
That's right. Here we go.
All right. Football season, Jovan, as everyone knows, is around the corner. The opening game with Albany, September, the 3rd. I was at an event, a U.S. Army recruiting event, a few weeks ago, and you know this, and I saw them working on the berm. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, no, we're incredibly excited for fans to see that beautiful addition there for the berm. Obviously, there's a naming right, Katie and Jimmy Garrison, and that berm is obviously in honor of her incredible mother and her legacy here. And we're just excited for that addition that it provides there, but also the contribution, the gift that to the Give Light fund that contribution went to.
So there were hedges, right, bushes there,
yes.
And it separated basically what is I don't want to use, I guess it's like a grassy knoll and a berm, and it was just kind of, it's not that it was just there, because at times you could have a pretty good crowd there. So is it still the berm with grass, or is that what it's going to be? And who gets to sit there?
Yes, well, it is still the same berm game day experience. It's still a zone that's often occupied by families and, those that are wanting, a more cost-effective way to get into the stadium. This is really just an opportunity to further define that space. I mean, I think many will see it and think that brick wall should have been there, could have been there from the very beginning. But really this was just a very special way to honor, Kate McLean Dimmitt and, Katie and Jimmy Garrison. They just felt that this was the right time and the right place to do so.
What is the sense of, is there relief that at least a large chunk of the I-35 project is done around the stadium before the season kicks off?
Oh, can we knock on wood? The progress is exponential. We're thankful for that. We're grateful to see, this project coming closer to an end, but we recognize there'll still be adjustments that everyone has to make, especially with all the other construction projects. So we're telling people to be flexible and hold on just a bit longer here.
Jovan Overshown, again with Baylor University, with us in administration, athletic administration, Sic'Em 365 Radio and 365 Sports. As there are changes, there are people who don't like change, some that do, but there's always that kind of a, like, what the hell's going on or whatever. And you've had to deal with that, and whether it's tailgating or seating or parking or what. Let's discuss the atmosphere within the stadium, which I know has been brought up before. How much have you been involved with that?
Yeah, I mean, we are intimately involved in that. I mean, we want more than ever to create, one of the best game day experiences in the country. So I think you will find, we take all the feedback from our fans. We certainly have creative brainstorm sessions. We look at, others across the conference and beyond, and we really take the summers to figure out ways that we can enhance and do things better and differently. So my hope is that this experience will be even better than last year, and you'll see some stability and some of the traditions and the staff and just things that we do that'll make for a really great football season.
How much do you take the suggestions? I get on there on occasion. I see some of what's being said. How do you do that? How much patience do you need? And almost in some cases, forgiveness do you sometimes need with some of the suggestions?
I think, what I tell myself is I have to approach it from the right perspective and lens. These are passionate individuals that want to be part of our experience for the most part. So I think sometimes naturally, like all things, people don't have all the information. And I think it's easy to be an armchair quarterback. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. So I think, taking bits and pieces of what we can and making sure that we're not leaving a rock unturned and that we're really considering some different ideas. But sometimes it's just people just don't know what they don't know. So something could seem like an obvious solution or pivot when there's a little more to it. So I think sometimes you encounter that, but I really try to just think about it from a positive perspective. These are people that care, that are invested in this place, and, that keeps me sane.
Is there sometimes almost friction between decades and generations on what people want?
Well, that's the fun of it. We've got a wide range, a fan base, wide-ranging fan base. And, I think it's, sometimes you've got one end of the spectrum, crying for one thing, and then you do that. And the other side is like, good grief, this is the worst decision y'all have made in a decade. So I think it's finding the moment that you can kind of speak to each of those bases. But then finding, a consistent thread that really speaks to the whole fan base. So it's a juggling. It's an art. It's not a science. And you just do the best you can. You
rolled out Go Gold with hashtag with Baylor. Yes. Can you kind of explain the campaign with Go Gold? Obviously with the colors of Baylor, but what you're doing with that?
Yeah, I mean, passion project for sure. I think myself and Mac and then Jason Cook on the university side. We saw that the impact of gold on display at the Sugar Bowl. We saw it on display, Big 12 champ game. Gold is such a powerful color. It makes such an impact. We love green. We understand that's our primary color. But when we really want to make our presence known, gold is just such an it factor. So we've worked really hard with our licensees, and our bookstore partner has been fantastic. And really making sure that we were ahead of the game this year and tried to work through supply chain issues so there's more gold available so people can just get access to it. And that becomes more the norm in their wardrobe as an option to the green.
When you changed the branding, and I remember when you had the unveiling at McLean Stadium, and I know you were very much a part of that. And again, it's like change. Were there some questions or opinions at that time that then became like, let's say, I don't like that, but now they do? Do they change their mind a lot?
That it's with time, things tend to grow on people. So I think, like you said, change is hard. And it's not that the former was bad. It's just this has the more opportunity for impact. And I think that's what people are seeing. The gold, you said it, the gold was the polarizing piece of it all. And, I think we're trying to really educate and provide messaging and storytelling behind why it is so important, why this color was chosen. And you're seeing it. You see it on display, in our venues and that powerful punch it packs. And I think people are getting on board with what it creates, the advantage it creates for our.
I'm sorry, Jovan.
You're good.
How much of this people just aren't used to having, one gold, one green? Because for years it was every green and gold that was in the Crayola box was kind of available to the fans for their shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just, we have a national presence. We are trying to further that national presence. And, you'd think of some of those top brands, inside and outside of athletics, there typically is a singular look and feel that is distinctive. And I think that's what we're trying to create. That doesn't mean there aren't variations of that. But we had gotten to a place where it was so scattered, you almost at times didn't know who you are. You couldn't pick out, that's Baylor if you were to see it on national television without Mark. So I think it's just consistency. I mean, consistency yields that depth of brand presence. And, hey, Baylor deserves that. That's who we are.
Do you think winning allows everybody to get used to something better, easier?
Well, it doesn't hurt.
No. Yeah.
Winning helps all things. So yeah, it certainly helps get, rallying troops behind something.
All right. You have, as an athletic department, Jovan Overshown again with us, Baylor Senior Associate AD. You have a football season about to start, along with all the other things that are happening as well, volleyball, etc. You also have this NIL thing that's just changed almost daily. You have the transfer portal that came about the same time. You have also all this stuff with the NCAA, and of course, President Livingstone's trying to help figure all that out. And now the realignment part of it for the second consecutive summer. Has this taken away from you as a group being able to do what you need to do, what would be your normal job?
I mean, I think it's definitely stretched us. It has, I don't want to say taken us away from it, because what we try to really do as a department is stay focused on the main thing, which is supporting our student athletes, creating a great experience. So we don't allow ourselves to be pulled away from that in whichever areas we touch it, but we also have stretched in the other direction. So I think it's required us to just, as Chad Jackson will say, move our axis on some things, NIL being one of them, being very adaptable and confident in our positioning as a conference, as an institution, as it relates to realignment, and just knowing that there are some things we can control and work on. And then the others, we just, we kind of wait and see, but at the same time, we charge forward with our main goal. So it has stretched us. And it's been challenging in moments, but look, you got to keep the main thing the main thing.
Jovan, Paul's mentioned this before, where Baylor is right now with the spine at the top to the bottom, with the president, Dr. Livingstone, Mac Rhodes, the football, all the coaches and all that. Is it as good as you've seen anywhere else you've been?
Gosh, it's so cool. This is where I get just totally jacked about it. It is, we have to keep from taking it for granted, because we are so fortunate. Our coaches are incredible people and competitors, leaders, and then, the administrative leadership from the institution to athletics, it's just second to none. And we really are positioned in such a phenomenal place, but yet we really are mission focused at the same time. So it just really is special. I think we all should get giddy when you talk about the distinctiveness in Baylor in that regard. It's just, like you said, it's just, there's no place like it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's factions, that you have. Yeah. I mean, and you can see when you hear stories about how did this, athletic department go from
Kentucky over the weekend,
good to bad, or how this can teeter-totter. It's because there's little pockets in the university that are all working towards their own goals. And you guys, I mean, it just doesn't seem, if they are, they're double secret and nobody knows, because you guys are pretty much down the line.
Yeah, I think you see, like you said, those pockets, they always reveal itself. What's done in the dark always comes to the light. And, we really try to work collaboratively in all ways. And, if that's one of the things we've got from a president and from an athletic director and from, leadership in between, we're all going to be aligned on the main goals. And I think as long as that main thing is consistent, that makes it a lot easier for us to kind of segment out and charge forward.
Jovan, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. We see if we can get Mac back as soon as possible. Not because of your segment. We enjoyed it. It's great, very refreshing as well.
Oh, we'll get Mac back. Don't you worry.
But, before something else occurs,
that's right.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, Jovan. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank y'all.
That's Jovan Overshown, again, a Senior Associate AD at Baylor, External Affairs. And she